Hi boys and girls, it's Mrs. J. Thanks for joining me today. This is the first of one of a couple answer key videos that I'm going to work with you on today. So for this video, it's about perimeter and area. So you're going to need the worksheets for 5-5 reteach and 5-5 practice. Those were both in the framework. The links to them are under the third grade work. Or you can look in the email that I sent you, and they were at the bottom of the email. So again, you can either use these as answer keys, you can go along and do them with me, you can kind of stop and start the video, however you need to do it to help you get the math accomplished. That's what I want you to do. All right, so just to refresh your memories, we have some definitions at the top. Remember, perimeter is the distance around a figure. So when we have a letter P, remember we want to go up and around and we want to measure around the outside for perimeter. When we're talking about area, we're talking about the inside, and remember we're measuring it in squares. I'll add a little more there. Okay, so we're measuring it in squares. Whoops, sorry, I kicked the table. And our label has to have square something. You have to tell the measurement for what your object is that it's getting measured in. It might be feet, it might be inches, it might be centimeters, it might be miles. So you have to look at the label. So in this problem, we're gonna be doing a couple different things. We have to, first of all, read the problem. Here, I'm gonna take the practice worksheet out. You have to read the problem. You have to circle whether the problem is talking about perimeter, area, or side length. And they've gotten you started on the first one here. So, Tracy's bedroom rug is 8 feet long and 5 feet wide. How much of the floor does Tracy's rug cover? So if I think about that, we're talking about this space inside the rug. How much does that cover? And that would make me think of area. And to find area, remember, all we would have to do is simply multiply the length times the width. So if I do 8 times 5, I would get 40, and I would have square, and my label is feet. Whoops. And you can see they circled area for you. And this kind of reminds me of the problem that I told you. Remember, if you have an area rug on the floor, that's kind of where it got its name from, because it's talking about how much area on the floor does this rug take up. Okay, so number 2. A city planner wants to put a fence around an empty lot. Fencing is sold by the foot. The lot is 70 feet by 90 feet. How much fencing will the planner need? Well, I'm thinking we're going around the fence like this, so we're going to be measuring perimeter. So if we have the lot is 70 feet by 90 feet. So if I drew a picture of that, this is what I think in my head. So I have 90 on one side and 70 on the other. But remember, I want to go all the way around the outside. So I will need another 90 and another 70. And then I'm going to add all of those 4 sides up. And that will tell me how far it is all the way around and how much fence I'll need. Well, I can do some quick math in my head. I can see that 70 plus 90 equals 160. So that would give me 2 sides for fencing, but I would also need the other 2 sides, so then I could just double it. So I could add another 160 plus 160, and that would give me 320. Now, we're just measuring around the outside in regular labels, so we would just need feet. We wouldn't have to use squares. So we're going to measure in perimeter because we're going around the outside, and we have 320 feet. Okay? All right, so last year, Miss Diaz's whiteboard was 6 feet long and 6 feet wide. This year, her whiteboard is 8 feet long and 4 feet wide. So it sounds like they added a little bit extra to it. How much more space does Miss Diaz have to write on this year? So, well, let's draw what the board looked like last year. So it used to be 6 feet by 4 feet. But now, I'm going to go like this so you can see the new part. Now, the board is actually 8 feet long. Okay, it's still the same width, but now instead of 6 times 4, it's 8 times 4. How much more space does Miss Diaz have to write on this year? Well, it looks like, why don't we label this A, like when we do our composite figures, and this is B. So the area for section A would be 6 times 4, that's 24 square feet. And we want to find the area for square B. How much extra space does she have? Well, I could do 8 times 4 is 32 square feet, because that's what it is now. And I could subtract those two numbers, and I would get 8 square feet. Or I could realize the difference here, and that if this is 6, this must be 2 feet. They added 2 extra feet to the whiteboard. And if I did 2 times 4, that would give me the area of the new little rectangle of space. Okay? But either way, the answer is 8 square feet, but that's 2 different ways you could have found that answer. Square feet, and we are measuring area. All right, so there's the reteach worksheet. There's the answers for 5-5. Let's pull out the practice worksheet. Let's go over the answer. Sorry, it's on the floor. I had to bend down. It was kind of out of my reach over there. All right, so this is kind of the same thing. So you have to solve. You have to circle whether you need to find a perimeter, an area, or an unknown side length. All right, that means they might give you some answers of the problem, kind of like when we did that reverse area where we knew the area and we knew one side length and we had to figure the missing multiplication fact. We might have to do that on some of the problems. So let's take a look at number 1 and let's read it. So Bradley wants to carpet his hallway. The hallway is 4 feet wide and 10 feet long. How much carpeting does he need? Well, if he's covering space on the floor, that sounds like an area problem. So I'm going to make a quick rectangle. Whoops. And I'm going to make it 10 feet by 4 feet. And I know that I can just multiply those two numbers, because if I drew out the tiles and then I counted the tiles, I know that I would get 40, because 10 times 4 is 40. And we're talking about area, so remember, I must be counting the squares on the inside. So I should have 40 square, and my label is feet. So there's your answer for the first problem, okay? Number 2, Amy put new wood floors in her bedroom. Now she wants to put strips of molding at the base of the walls around the floor. Her floor has dimensions 12 feet by 12 feet. There is a doorway 3 feet wide where there will be no molding. How much molding does Amy need? Okay, so I'm envisioning a room that looks like this. And it's got 12 feet and 12 feet and 12 feet and 12 feet. But somewhere there's a doorway. Let's just make the doorway like right here, where there will be no molding where the doorway is, obviously, because it's an open space and you would just walk through it. So whatever answer we get for the perimeter, we have to subtract 3 because there is a doorway. So I know that if I add 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 12, I get 48. I could do 12 times 4 is 48. I could also do 12 plus 12 is 24 and then double it, okay? Any way you find 48, you need to know that, oops, I'm off the camera. Sorry about that. I looked at my phone. And then we have to subtract 3, so our answer is 45. So we have 45 feet, just feet, and we were finding perimeter in that problem. Okay, so far so good. Number 3, Luke works at a daycare center. He used foam tiles to build a square playmat for the toddlers at the center. Each foam tile is a square with side lengths of 2 feet. Okay, so the little tiles each look like this, 2, 2, 2, 2. And he put those together and he made a mat on the floor. The area of the play mat is 64 square feet. How many tiles are in each row and column of the mat? Okay, so he's using squares. So he built a square and he got 64 square feet in the middle. So I'm going to think about what math fact, if I have a square, would give me the answer of 64. I know that that multiplication fact would be 8 times 8. So we have to kind of work backwards, and this is a multi-step problem. So I hope you didn't give up on this one and you persevered, because remember, these are not word friendlies. They're called word problems for a reason, and sometimes you have to stretch your brain to find the answer. You have to keep at it. So we want to know how many tiles are in each row and column. Well, they told us that each of the tiles was 2 feet all the way around. So if he had 8 feet down one side, I'm thinking he would have had 1, 2, 3, 4, because that would be 2, 2, 2, and 2. And then also down this side, his tiles would have fit 2, 2, 2, and 2. Of course, they would be on the inside making the square. I'm just trying to show you on the one side where the number 8 would come from. So he is going to make the columns and the rows, each with 4 tiles. Okay, 4 tiles, because then that added together would give you the 8 feet, and then 8 times 8 would give you the 64. So this answer is 4 tiles, and that is side length. All right, our last one. Danny has a roll of ribbon with a sparkly star pattern. She used 100 inches of ribbon to put a border around her science poster. Okay, so I know she had a poster and the perimeter all the way around was 100. The poster is a rectangle with a length of 28 inches. Okay, so the poster is a rectangle with a length of 28 inches. There we go, move that over. Sorry, I think I was out of the picture again. Okay, so what is the width? So we know the length. They want to know what's the measurement for that side? Well, I know that if I do this side is 28, I know opposite sides of a rectangle are the same length, so that's going to be 28, and then I also know that's a question mark. So what I think I can do is add up these two and get the total, and then at least I'll have the total of what's left for these two sides, right? All right, so let's say I added up 28 plus 28, and I get 56. So these two sides equal 56, and it's 100 inches all the way around. So if I subtract 100 minus 56, ooh, we've got to subtract across some zeros there. So I'm going to make that 10 because I brought 10 over, but I still have to get some extras over here to my ones. So now I can subtract again. Now I have enough ones. So 10 minus 6 is 4. 9 minus 5 is 4. So this side and this side together equal 44 inches, but I need half of that because I need half of that on the top and half of that on the bottom. Well, half of 44 is 22. Okay, so what is the width of the poster? The width is 22, and our label is inches. 22 inches, and we were measuring side length. All right, boys and girls, I hope you had good luck with that. Problems 3 and 4 were challenging. Those were definitely multi-step problems, and you would probably really have to stretch your brain on that and keep working. So if they were a little difficult for you and you had a challenging time figuring that out, I hope now that we've gone over the answers, that's kind of helped you figure them out a little bit. It just takes practice. You've got to keep at it and keep at it and keep at it when it comes with word problems, because the more you practice and the better you get at your strategies, the easier they'll become. Okay, so there's 5-5 reteach and 5-5 practice. And I thank you for watching today.